Right, well, welcome everybody to the final Zoomformation call for zones 33 and 34 and more. Great to see so many on the call. We're now up to 83. I want to start by telling you that today is a very auspicious day for one of our members. It's the birthday of past Rotary International President Barry Rassin. And apparently Esther has decreed that on his birthday, there should be no Rotary commitments. So he apologizes for not being on the call, but if you agree, I'd like to invite you to join with me in at least singing Happy Birthday to Barry in his absence. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
to you.
Happy
birthday, dear
Harry.
Happy
birthday to you.
Glad I
Yes,
stayed
man.
muted.
Mute's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
I dread to think what the recording of that will be, because there seem to be a lot of gaps in the singing. Anyway,
Not good, Peter.
on with the program. So as you all know, at this time of year, all around the Rotary world, there are changeover ceremonies for club presidents and for district governors, and you've all probably been attending in one or more of those. But there's no such thing really for either the regional coordinators or the directors. Obviously, logistically, it would be difficult to arrange. So what Rotary International does at the last meeting of the year, there's a small ceremony whereby the retiring directors have a few minutes to make whatever remarks they want to make about the highlights of the year or disappointments, whatever. And then they formally introduce their successor. And then they ceremoniously get up from their seat at the board table, vacate the chair, and invite the succeeding director to take his or her place. We did this in Houston at the convention, and it was for me, a great joy and satisfaction to be able to introduce Jeremy. Jeremy and I were classmates way back in 2013 and 14, which was well known as the first class of district governors. My apologies to Trustee Chair John, but that was the first class, ahead of your class. And I've known Jeremy for for more than 10 years. I couldn't wish for a better successor, and it was a pleasure for me to be able to introduce Jeremy and to see him join the board table. So I thought we'd do something similar this time. We'd give both myself and the retiring regional coordinators a few minutes to say whatever they wanted to say, and then to invite Jeremy and the incoming regional coordinators to say whatever they wanted to say. So that's really the background of this call. So let me start the ball rolling. It's hard to know where to start. There have been lots of highlights of the last 2 years. And just very quickly, I don't want to belabor them, but very quickly, I have to say it was a great joy to be serving with Stephanie Urchik in my first year on the board. Stephanie is much loved and respected all around the Rotary world. She was a great mentor to me, and she made my life much easier than it might otherwise have been. So Stephanie, a big thank you to you. I was fortunate to be appointed as a first-year director to the executive committee. That's not always the case. And that led in my second year to being appointed the chair of the executive committee. And the executive committee, as you know, is a fairly important committee. It tends to act on lots of matters in between board meetings. It has a fairly defined set of responsibilities. And that has been at times exhausting and frustrating, but on the whole, it's been a very educational and satisfying assignment. I also had the good fortune to serve as the chair of the board's committee on COL. That comes up once every 3 years, and it was my luck to have been asked to serve this year. That was a wonderful assignment, a lot of work, but very successful. And I want to pay tribute to Trustee Chair John. He was the advisor to the board committee, and he has so much knowledge, institutional knowledge of previous COLs and of the organization itself. So it made my job that much easier. It was a pleasure to sit beside John with Andrew McDonald on the other side, and the three of us helped to navigate some of the issues through the COL. So that really was one of the highlights. Another highlight, of course, was last year's summit in Naples. Very successful. Many of you attended that. Right up to the last minute, there was some doubt as to whether we could go ahead because of COVID. We did. And a big thank you to Art McQueen in particular, and all the members of the planning committee who were involved, Doug Wolf, and there are many on the call. I've already had a chance to thank you, but that was one of the highlights from my point of view. Also, I had the good fortune to serve alongside a really wonderful group of regional coordinators. We are blessed with some very competent Rotary coordinators, RPICs, Rotary Foundation Committee, Regional Rotary Foundation coordinators and their assistants, innovative club advocates. So in terms of membership, giving to the foundation, public image, I think we are right up there at the top of the zones, certainly in North America, if not around the world. So a big thank you to all the regional coordinators for all their support, their hard work throughout the year. They've done a fantastic job, and some of them will be retiring, so they will have a chance to say a few remarks in a few minutes. Some of the regrets. I regretted that we could not have the summit in Pittsburgh last year. We did a lot of work with that with Stephanie. It would have been a great event. So that was a pity. It was also a pity, like many of you, that we were not able to go to Hawaii in 2020 or to Taipei in 2021. Both would have been wonderful experiences. It was also a regret that I did not get to go to the International Assembly in Orlando, either this year or last year. But it is what it is, and many of you had the same misfortune. There's nothing we can really do or say about that. I had hoped to visit all 31 districts in our 2 zones. Sadly, because for the first 18 months of my term, because of COVID, we were not allowed to travel. So I didn't get to see and liaise with as many of the current district governors and the incoming district governor leadership team as I would have liked. But all in all, it's been a wonderful 2 years. I would not have changed it for anything. There have been lots of little highs and little lows, but thoroughly engrossing and satisfying. I do want to thank all of you for your support. Many of you have written to me with kind messages. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your friendship. I'm quite sure that our Rotary journeys will continue to connect. I wish each one of you every success as you continue with your journey. For the moment, I will be sitting tight at home. I've got several years of filing to do, and apparently there's a lot of deferred maintenance and household chores that I've been able successfully to avoid for the last 2 years, but they're coming home to roost. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you again. And now let me pass over to some of the retiring regional coordinators. No particular order, but on the list that I have in front of me, Patrick, you're next up. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Peter. I'm disappointed to suddenly learn it's no particular order. I thought I was first because I was special, but thank you for introducing me. I start beginning by thanking David Stovall for appointing me to the Rotary coordinator position. I never expected to have this opportunity. I've always been a solidly committed Rotary Foundation guy, but this has been a wonderful, wonderful experience. I want to thank directors Stephanie and Peter both All three of these directors who I have mentioned have provided strong and unwavering support for membership. It sends a strong message to our district leaders about the importance of membership. So I'm very thankful to all three of you for that. As Peter mentioned, we faced serious challenges during these past 3 years when I was Rotary coordinator. The pandemic was a serious obstacle for 2 of those 3 years. And even today, there's still some smaller, maybe more manageable obstacles, but with all, as is true with all challenges, there've been some opportunities for our clubs as well. And all of our clubs had to become e-clubs. And I think that has forced us to evolve a good bit. And I think that the clubs that embrace that technology as part of their operations they sort of develop some new muscles that they're using now. And they allow people to be able to access their meetings in person or virtually in a hybrid setting. And that has allowed us to be a little bit more inclusive, to attract more members. Sometimes even members who've joined clubs never before having visited in person. So I think that we've taken good advantage of that opportunity. Likewise, our innovative club effort has been really important to our membership efforts. Just this year, we've produced over 400 new Rotarians through innovative clubs across Zone 33, which is significant. Directors Stephanie and Peter were central to creating that innovative club initiative, along with their colleagues across North America. And I thank them for the opportunity to serve in that role as well, alongside my friend Chris Jones. My final comment is to embrace the fact that membership is a team sport. And that applies to the Rotary coordinator team. I've worked with 7 incredible assistant Rotary coordinators over the last 3 years, but it also applies to districts and clubs. We all must focus on membership because if we get membership right, everything that we love about Rotary Foundation, our impact, fellowship, everything gets better when we do membership right. So I'll just add that I think our membership efforts are in great hands going forward with incoming Terry Weaver, my successor, as well as incoming director, Jeremy. Both of these Rotarians have shown great commitment to membership, to innovation, and I wish the best to both of them and to all of us when it comes to membership. So thank you again for the chance to say goodbye, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Patrick. And now over to the next most special person on my list, who just happened to be retiring ARPIC, Alex Wilkins. Alex, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Director. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Don't you hate following Patrick? Anybody ever done that? Trust me, man. I'd much rather follow Art. Okay, sorry. Disappointments? None. Oh my gosh. And to echo Patrick, working with directors David, Stephanie, Peter, Jeremy now, that's a dream. That is absolutely a dream. And working with a team, and Patrick mentioned the team, working with a team of coordinators. And I think the success, one of the largest successes I will leave here with is the fact that we've gotten rid of, we've moved closer to removing the silos between foundation, membership, and public image. And, if you think that through, membership and foundation are very, very numbers intensive, and public image is, that's the soft science. This is the liberal arts major over here. So it's hard to quantify. But working together as the team, and with Nancy and Patrick for a while, and now with Lorraine and Patrick, it's just been a dream come true. I think we've made huge strides toward showing those that we present in front of that we are a team, and it works better when we are indeed intertwined and make that mix. And that's a huge stride that I will walk away with smiling. From the very beginning with people like Susan ZW, who I think is on the call here, and from the first year, And 6 years ago, actually, when I was an assistant RPIC, it's been a really pleasurable experience to watch the growth of Rotary. And I think certainly in my mind, it's always an effort to leave it better than I found it. And I think passing this to Billy is in amazingly good hands. Billy Black, if I've lost you, I apologize. Amazingly good hands. Public image and foundation and the RC team in Zone 33. I'm looking forward to some amazing things, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve. Thank you all very much. I'm not going anywhere. And oh, by the way, I retired from a professional job, so now I just have more time for that, either the honeydew list, Peter, or more Rotary stuff. So thanks very much. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Alex. Great contribution. Great remarks. And now we pass to the retiring Regional Rotary Foundation coordinator, an old friend and a great Rotarian, Roger Champion. Roger, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Peter. I really enjoyed my term as Zone 34 RRFC, and I'll miss serving with a great Rotary Foundation team next year. I'd like to thank David Stovall, Stephanie, Peter, and Jeremy for their support, their guidance, and their encouragement during my term. Looking back over the term, we've undertaken a number of new initiatives, and I'd like to talk about 3 of those that we're very proud of. First, our team heard comments from our district Rotary Foundation chairs that they needed a course of training for their positions. In answer to this, we developed a monthly DRFC roundtable discussion session. And we use these sessions to educate, train, share best practices with the DRFCs. I want to thank Rotarian Pam Russell for her great work as the moderator for these sessions. Second initiative was to develop a foundation newsletter for Zone 34. Our editor, ARRFC, Laura Cottrell Thomas, has published 4 excellent quarterly newsletters so far. And the third initiative that we undertook was to develop a series of projects of impact webinars. And the purpose of that was to highlight grants in Zone 34 that hopefully would touch the hearts of our Rotarians. The grant projects that these webinars that were included in these webinars were an interview with John Smarge and Ryan Rowe on hand wash, an interview for a grant for 800 student school in the jungles of Guatemala, a polio update by Trustee Aziz Mimo of Pakistan, a grant to perform corrective surgery for polio survivors in India, interview on a life-saving heart surgery for a child in Uganda that was funded by Rotarians, interview on the Grand Bahama Emergency Water Relief Grant, interview on a sustainable agricultural project in Puerto Rico, a district grant for a refrigerated delivery truck for the Food Bank of Southwest Florida, and Share and Smile grants to provide cleft lip and cleft palate surgery in Mexico, Central and South America. And we had excellent participation in the webinars. We had any place from 120 to 350 attendees register for these webinars. And building on our endeavors and the hard work of our team, I'd like to report our fundraising results through the month of May. So far, we've had a 15.5% increase in our annual fund giving this year over last year. In addition, our annual fund per capita giving is all up almost 20% over last year. We got our fingers crossed that it will continue during the month of June, and look forward to the results at the end of the year. And this concludes my remarks, and I want to thank you for allowing me to serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Great report. Those figures at the end of your report. I'm so glad that Trustee Chair John was on the call and he had a chance to hear that, because we've really done well this year, and largely because of your dedication and commitment. So thank you very much. So the next person to speak is Steve Schluter. I'm not sure whether Steve is on the call. I don't see him. Steve has not had good health recently, so he did say that he may not be able to join the call.
I'm here.
Oh, you are here. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Hi, Steve. I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Peter. It's been a pleasure working with you, and Roger, it's been a pleasure working with you too. These 3 years have been a wonderful period for me working as Endowment of Major Gifts Advisor. It's been quite successful, actually. This past year, as Peter recognized, I've had some pretty sincere health issues. So I've been about 25% effective, maybe even 15. I don't know. But when you're surrounded by a good team, the cream still comes to the top, and we've been very good. We have 2 new AKS that are in the wings right now that we're hoping to bring in shortly. And our endowment giving is during the pandemic has actually been better than it has been prior to that. So I don't know if it's a different thought process in people's mind that the pandemic kind of forced forward, but a lot more Rotarians are coming to me now to set up legacy giving for the future. So that's been enjoyable for me as well. I have one project that is unfinished, and that is we are tapping all the old benefactors in District 6960 to become Bequest Society members, and that's in process. And I'll be working with Dave Roush on that to get that going, and Deborah Lowe to get that completed. I want to see that one through. The high point of this year actually has been a get together that we had for all of our AKS members that Marshall Butler and his team in public image did an outstanding job putting together for us, all the way from video invitations on out. And we got together for what was going to be an hour. We had one AKS that where their passion was a specific area of focus. We had one from all the area focuses, and just to say what they were doing with it, why is it their passion, what drew them to it, and stuff like that. And it turned into be a regular little chat-a-thon where everybody present talked about what they were up to and what they were doing with the Rotary Foundation and the projects they were involved in. And we went way past the 1 hour, I'm afraid. I'm glad we weren't being charged overtime for that. So that was kind of a high point. I'm still working personally on the side. I'm still working on water in the Caribbean. I have a project going in Barbados right now. We have another one going in Peru. Then there's one more, but I'm old and senile and I can't remember where it is. But it's been a ball, and I will absolutely stay involved in the Rotary Foundation once I get myself back on my feet again. So thanks you very much, Director.
Thank you, Steve. Even if I only have 25% of you, it's worth every bit of it. You've made an enormous contribution over many, many years, and we all wish you well for a full and complete recovery. Thank you for a job well done. And to know that there's some AKS members in the pipeline, that was icing on the cake. Again, many thanks, Steve. And with that, the Out with the Old segment is over. And we're now, if I had a microphone, I would metaphorically drop the microphone and pass over to my good friend, incoming director, Jeremy. Jeremy, take it away.
Thank you so much, Peter. The vision of you dropping the mic will stay with me as you finish your presentation. Wow, how humble I feel to be here today with all of you, and particularly with Peter, who's done such an amazing job this year. And if you talk about big shoes, I'm just glad we're on the Zoom screen so you can't see our feet, because Peter's a massive, and in the best sense of the word, of course. And I just want to thank him on behalf of everyone for the amazing job he's done. I had the opportunity, partly one of COVID silver linings, to be able to watch Peter from the background. The nominee directors and the directors elected this year had the opportunity through Zoom, because of COVID, to actually watch the board meetings to a much larger degree we had previously. And I just saw the amount of work that Peter put in, and did an amazing job as chair of the executive committee, and the council of legislation was absolutely faultless, and he used all of his talent and his expertise to guide it through to the success it was. So Peter, thank you so much, and thank you for bringing me in as well, because I've almost felt like I've been there by your side in the last part of your journey, and it was a journey where you did all the work and perhaps didn't have as much of the fun as you deserve, but we're going to make sure you have plenty of fun going forward and plenty of opportunities to do that. And the same applies to Stephanie, who I also shadowed for a year as a nominee, and David as well. All of those have been such influences and to me, and inspirations to me as I've planned for this goal moving forward. And as I move forward, we've got an amazing year coming up. We've got an amazing president, a historic situation with, of course, someone who's the most talented of people in the form of Jen Jones, and who's going to be bringing her very own stamp. And also, in a year's time, another amazing president in the shape of Gordon McInally. I think how lucky I am to have those two presidents, and how we are to take us over the next couple of years. And continuity is going to be very much one of the themes that I want to build on. And they are literally walking the walk between Shaker and Jennifer and Gordon in terms of showing the importance of that to our organization. The other thing I want to encourage and to focus on is the courage for us to have change. Change for the sake of progress. And I think it's recognized at the moment we have some challenges in organizations, particularly North America, in terms of membership numbers. And I really want to focus on using that courage and taking the steps to be able to build what we need to do as we go forward with our coordinators, with our teams, with each of you as well. And lastly, the care of our members, I think, is important to President Jen. It's important to us because at the end of the day, it all ties back to our members' experiences. And if we can build that by making them feel comfortable and cared for in their clubs, and we will be doing our job. So a few of the new things I want to do and is to perhaps look at the concept of creating more regionalized structures within zone. And that's something that's being encouraged from the board level down. Shaping Rotary's Future started that with its pilots in Zone 8 in Australia and in the GBI, Great Britain and Ireland. But the board is saying, let's be more inventive, let's be more daring, let's be bolder in terms of how we look at Rotary, as long as it doesn't breach the constitution or bylaws within our zones. And two examples of that, which also build continuity, are the membership action plan, which Patrick referred to earlier, which has very much been built this year with Peter's assistance and based upon the work that's been done in the past with Stephanie and David as well, and building that opportunity for us to look at membership over a multi-year period. And with the goal of and we'll get data's goal, I'd say, of a goal aiming for consistent, moderate, continual year-on-year growth. And by that, we mean 5% per annum. So as you can show, we're aiming for the stars and we're about to roll that out in the near future. And we're also putting together a medium-term foundation action plan. I'll be working with the coordinators to start building that. Now, I don't see why we shouldn't be in a position where every Rotary club supports in polio, where every Rotarian should be covered to give the Rotary Foundation, encouraged to give the Rotary Foundation. So again, audacious goals based upon an intentional, systematic planning approach with you on board as the stakeholders. So another of the things we're looking at is providing greater opportunities within the zone structure. And I'll be working with our new chief of staff. Some of you may know this guy, a guy called Art McQueen, who's going to be coming on board, who's come on board and is be focusing on building those roles within the zone. And we're looking at other spaces and places to put our leaders as we go forward. Places where they're passionate about, with the goal of providing resources and capability to the clubs, so improving again those club members' experiences. So that's a few of the thoughts and plans we've got coming for this year. I want to congratulate not only the outgoing coordinators, but also the existing coordinators who've done such an amazing job over the past year. And I also want to encourage and congratulate those incoming coordinators that are now introduced. But before we go, could we have one more rousing round of applause for outgoing director Peter for the amazing job he's done. Peter, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jeremy. Nice gesture.
Okay. And Jeremy, we can't forget Margaret. That's been behind him just so much.
Hugh, you are 1,000%, and thank you, Hugh. That's absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. And she's been a star. So now it's my turn to introduce some of the incoming coordinators. So, and I don't think they have any idea the order it's going to be in, because I don't have the sheet in front of me. So this is really going to be a luck. So I'm going to start in zone 33 with incoming Rotary coordinator, Terry Weaver. Terry is, as you probably know, is a numbers man extraordinaire, and has been an amazing asset to us as we built the membership action plan. But Terry, over to you. You can tell the story.
Thanks so much, Jeremy. Well, I want to start with a personal note. You know, we stand on the shoulders of giants. Our leadership turns over on a regular basis, much of it once a year. But I want to recognize, compliment, and thank Patrick Eakes for the exemplary job he's done leading the Rotary coordinator team these past 3 years. And you know Patrick, he's done so with good humor, always just the right touch, and he's helped his assistants develop along the way as well. These might have been the toughest 3 years on record in the life of a Rotary coordinator. And Patrick has rolled with those punches. He's adapted, pivoted, innovated, regrouped, whatever was necessary to see us through all that. And he's always watched my back, and I appreciate it. So going forward, one of the things we need to work on is changing the prevailing narrative about membership, which I call Rotary's retention myth. Now, you've heard this countless times, starting with the highest levels of Rotary leadership and repeated down the line. It goes like this: we're pretty good at attracting members, we're just not so good at keeping them. We have a retention problem. That's almost the way it's stated every time you hear it. And you may have bought off on that too, if you were looking at only the top level of data. Yeah, it's true. We attract about 160,000 members a year, lose about 170,000. But the trouble with that narrative is, I've been rolling around in this membership data for 5 years, and at the club level, I can't find anything in the data to support that statement. At the club level, the data does not support that statement. In fact, the only generalization you can make about Rotary with respect to membership is that you can't generalize. The fact is that more than half of our clubs are really good at keeping members and just awful at attracting them. And frankly, I think they've been misdirected by this retention myth, thinking that the only thing they need to pay attention to is keeping existing members. Now, keeping existing members is essential. Every member you keep is a member you don't have to replace, but highly overrated as a growth strategy. You cannot retain your way from 20 to 25 members. That strategy alone will not work. So membership challenges start at the Rotary Club, and that's the place where we can fix them. And our role as district leaders, I think we need to work with our club leaders to help them understand 3 things. First, why consistent, moderate membership growth is essential to the sustainability of any Rotary club. And secondly, what if you don't pay attention to membership each and every year? And then finally, how to not only retain members, but also how to attract enough members to not only replace attrition, some controllable, some not controllable, and then to moderately grow. Attrition is real. You've heard me say that before. We have to have a plan to attract enough members to cover the members that we will undoubtedly lose. Now, my district is typical of most, at least in zone 33, where satellite clubs account for more than all of our membership gains in this year, 21-22. I'll say that again. In my district, like most, satellite clubs account for more than all of our membership gains in 21-22, meaning that our legacy clubs are failing to perform consistently, moderately growing, or growing at all. So you see, Rotary's biggest impediment to growth is not Kiwanis, it's Rotarians. Rotarians who are complacently satisfied with their club leaking members at a net loss rate of 2 or 3 a year, just a slow glide toward extinction, aging out together. Now, attrition has not been the problem in most of our legacy clubs. If we could get our legacy clubs performing in attracting members in the way satellite clubs have, we'd be at the front of the pack as a zone. We've stood up dozens of satellite clubs that
You want to unmute, Terry?
There we go. I'll back up. If we could get our legacy clubs performing in attracting members in the way satellite clubs have, we'd be at the front of the pack. We've stood up dozens of satellite clubs this year of 10, 15, and 20 members in less than a year. Most of those started by legacy clubs that haven't grown meaningfully in the past decade. So what's my conclusion from all of that, folks? As almost all of us have said, there are plenty of people out there ready to join Rotary. We just haven't asked them. And the fact is, we're not that good at attracting members in a majority of our clubs. And I believe as zone leaders and district leaders, we need to remedy that problem. All the time paying close attention to the product we're delivering, which is the club experience. That's what improves retention of not only new members, but also existing members. So that's
Thanks,
our
Terry.
intention this year.
Thanks, Terry. That's amazing, and that really sets up the membership action plan Zoomformation call launch, which is July 11th, which we'll talk about later. We're really excited. Moving on now to telling the story, which is so important in Zone 33. Incoming ARPIC, Billy Black. Billy, you want to say a few words?
Thanks, Jeremy. First of all, I want to thank Jennifer and Director Peter and Director Jeremy for inviting me to serve. I feel like I've been one of those people in the background. Just say, put me in, coach, you know, I'm ready. Working with Alex over the past 3 years has been great. He has built a team, changed our direction, and we're ready to tell the story. So we'll begin with relationship building, and we have our first meeting in July, which is unusual, but we wanted to help our governors and our public image chairs on the district level hit the ground running. How do you get in contact with the clubs? How do you connect with your people? And learn using those learning center classes. They have improved so much. It's amazing. They're 8 wonderful classes that really clarify some of the things that are muddy out there in the way of public image. So using DACTB and the Learning Center, we're ready to move forward with the membership action plan, supporting Terry, showing our clubs to be exciting. Oftentimes legacy clubs don't show that they're very exciting. They show that they are kind of boring. So how do you do that? And we're working with that. And then how to highlight global and district grants so people understand what's happening with the money that we continually ask them to raise, but where does it go? How are we using it? So with Ashley Waters, Ken Fleeson, Joe Piscara, Dawn Rochelle, and a brand new Rotaractor, we're very excited to invite Hannah Sanchez on board. We're ready to hit the ground running, and we're in service to you, Jeremy.
Thanks a lot, Billy. Great job. Now we're down to Zone 34, or across the Zone 34. So incoming RRFC is Sandra Hempstead. Sandra, over to you.
Thank you. And like others, I'm really excited to serve in this capacity. I thank you, Peter, for putting my name forward. And I've had an opportunity over the last several months, a few things that have been extremely meaningful and have really prepared me for this role. One of them is to work with Roger Champion, who's been exceptional. He's had me partnered up with him for the last several months, and I've learned from him, and he's done a tremendous job. But the other is for Jeremy to invite me to be a part of the membership action plan. It has been phenomenal for me to partner up with the membership teams to contribute to what they're doing to improve and increase membership. I think the nuts and bolts of that is going to be really exciting, and I am interested and exciting to be part of it. And it may sound a little strange for a foundation chair to be talking about membership, but I've realized too, without the members to donate and to do the good work of the Rotary Foundation, we don't have the success that our foundation has. I do have several people coming onto my team. Mackinson Pierre-Louis, who's coming from 7020. He's the immediate past Rotaract chair. I'm really excited to have him as a part of the team, and Rotaract will be a big focus for what we do with the foundation to engage Rotaract, and particularly starting to engage them in projects and grants. I do also have Tina Fishlin, who's joining the team from Georgia. And those of you that have heard and know Tina, she's an exceptional grant person. And I have her partnered with Mackinson to try to take our Projects of Impact webinars, one step further. We will still be doing that, but to offer some projects and some opportunities for our districts within our zone to partner better together and to get more work done within our zone through the Rotary Foundation. And I really feel like that will also allow us to tell our story and to give us more stories to tell to our clubs, which of course is going to help with membership and will involve public image. We will be continuing the DRFC roundtables that Roger mentioned. Those have just been so successful. And then adding to that, we'll be holding some foundation workshops for the foundation teams so that we continue that desire to engage and educate our foundation teams as to what's going on within the foundation and provide the much needed mentoring at the team level. So quite a lot of things to focus on. We've done a tremendously good job, as Roger said, this year with our giving, and we'll continue to push and to encourage every club to be giving, with the target of every Rotarian to be giving.
Thanks, Sandra. A great summary, and really looking forward to you working with you. And great to hear about the fact that we are walking the walk in terms of breaking down those silos. It's so essential we see ourselves a cohesive team. And lastly, from Zone 34, Steve Schluter's replacement for EMGA, Dave Rauch. Dave.
Thank you, Jeremy. First, I'd like to thank Trustee John, Jeremy, and Peter for allowing me to have this opportunity. I really feel I can add value, hopefully as much as Steve has, and I'll continue to work hand in hand with Steve. As well as, we had a great weekend. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was action-packed, and I think meeting the times we had together to network, and I felt like I met very many of our DGs, GGEs, and everybody else. It was just a great event. I feel Deborah Lowe and I, our major gift officer, we really need to work hand in hand to continue to complement each other on our strengths and our weaknesses so we can build together as a team. Obviously, I need to work closely with the EMGA staff at the foundation, as well as my counterpart in Zone 33, who we've already talked a little bit, and hopefully we can communicate some more. As Sandra was saying, yeah, I really feel I like this team concept. I've always kind of looked at Zone as stovepipes, and I see now this team concept really coming together and all of us doing a real effort to work as a team. Membership used to be my biggest thing. I mean, it still is big, but then I went into foundation, but I'm still a big membership guy. So I really feel I can add value there. And then having these roundtables, we're going to continue those, and the workshops. So again, working together as a team, along with public image and membership. Need to communicate more with the DGs and the DFRCs on basically what can we add value to them and help them in determining and finding opportunities for major gifts and legacy planning. And then just think reviewing giving reports. I think we have some big opportunities out there. As a demographic, we're fairly aging up there. And so there's, I think, a lot of opportunity for a lot of legacy planning, as well as major gifts to do that as well. And just basically, if I've quantified my results of what I'm looking to achieve, I won't go with those on those right now with all of you. I will submit those to the foundation, as well as to Jeremy and others that are on this call today. And so you can see the quantitative side of things. And really, the last thing I have to say is if there's anybody on this call that would like to meet with me, discuss a major gift or a legacy opportunity, please message me, and I'll be happy to get right with you and get on top of it. You gotta make the ask.
Thanks, Dave. You're absolutely right. We needed a salesman in that job. Great job. And can I just say how much I'm looking forward to working with all of you, and every single one of you, the incoming coordinators, existing coordinators. How many Explorer governors, incoming governors are on this call? Can we see you, please? Because I want to recognize you, because I know how hard you've worked to get to today. You're really close And I want to encourage you to make this the ride of your lives. I'm sure you will, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. Michelle and I will be over there every step of the way. We're going to have an exciting time with President Jen. And now, let me pass back over to the man who we're really here about today. That's our director, Peter, for his final comments. Peter, over to you.
Well, thanks, Jeremy. What a great team you have assembled. Zone 33 and 34 are in great hands, and you're going to have a wonderful year. Just a couple of people I want to particularly recognize. I see from the chat box that Marshall and Karen are celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary today. So congratulations, Marshall and Karen. And a special reach out to my good friend and excellent Rotarian, Carol King. Carol has had a lot of health challenges recently. She's very stoic. Carol, we wish you every success. We hope that you recover fully and quickly, and our thoughts and prayers are with you and with John as well. So that's all I want to say. It's been a wonderful 2 years. It's been a great ride, as some of you have commented. Time now to pass over the torch. Thank you again for your support, your guidance, your friendship. There are so many that I would like to reach out to personally, but there's not time. I didn't mention DEI. I didn't mention Empowering Girls. I see Dawn is there and Tina. There are so many initiatives. The YPA initiative, I'm very proud of that. I didn't get a chance to talk about that. But we've reached the end of our scheduled 45 minutes. So with that, let's stop, and please unmute yourselves and join with Jeremy and myself as we, for the last time for this Rotary year, recite the four-way test.